Do you agree with some of it, or do you think some should be removed and your choice should be popping in? Hi guys, welcome back to my first luxury. Vivian here. I have made a list and did some research to show you guys what I think some of the most iconic handbags are. In order to be considered iconic, these handbags has to be recognizable. It has to stand the test of time, so it needs to be timeless in terms of style, and also it has to be something that a lot of us know. Or celebrity or high exposure figure is often the way that we get to know some of these handbags. And lastly, I do think the handbag has to have a very unique story. And fortunately, most of the handbags on the list have already touched these 4 points that's worth making them the most iconic handbags. It's kind of great to know, what are some of the handbags that's really worth investing when you're ready to make your next big purchase. The list I'm sharing does not have any particular order. I would say a lot of these handbags are very common, but some might be controversial and some might not agree. So without further ado, let's get into top 10 most iconic handbags on my list. So the very first one is going to be Louis Vuitton. There are 2 handbags that I think has made it to the list. Louis Vuitton Speedy. The reason I picked Speedy is because it was so iconic, and it was first created for Audrey Hepburn in the 1930s and in the size 30, and then the size 25 was added on later at her request. If you have heard of Louis Vuitton, you must have heard of this silhouette. And this bag is something that has stand the test of time and is still very much in style. And I think the brand later added the style with the bandolier to mimic their travel duffel, which is called the Keep All. So now you can find the Speedy bandolier from size 24 to size 40. The next one is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. By this point, I'm pretty sure you have either heard of or have seen Neverfull on somebody. And yes, this bag has become one of their most recent iconic silhouettes because it was designed in the early 2000s. I believe I got mine months after it came out in 2005. And next is the Chanel Classic Flap. How many of you have seen this bag before? I mean, this is the newest, but anything that you're seeing on the screen right now pretty much tells you what are some of the iconic components of this style of handbag. And if you are a handbag lover, I'm pretty sure you either own this handbag already or currently expanding your collection. Or the Chanel 2.55. The Chanel 2.55 was actually born in the year 1955 of the month February, so this is the reason why it's called the 2.55. It is originally designed by Coco Chanel herself, and it's got some very iconic metallic chains are inspired by the military. It was the first bag for women to come with a shoulder strap, a detail that offered freedom from the impractical constraints of the clutch. Chanel herself loved the way she could slide both hands into pockets of her coat, striking a free, determined pose. So the 2.55 was a revelation and instantly became a house icon. Then we have 2 bags from Dior that I think it's really worth mentioning, have very well made it to this list. The first one is the Lady Dior. Lady Dior was first adopted by Princess Diana in 1995. The Lady Dior bag was born, almost immediately writing itself in the history of fashion. So this bag has been around for a long time now. Princess Diana is the one that made it super famous, a testament to the exceptional savoir-faire at the Dior ateliers. The Lady Dior bag is a continuation of the Christian Dior's legacy, each element meticulously crafted, keeping in tune with the house's heritage. Everything that's really imaginary can seem, really you sort of deserve better. The best part about trust is just the third letter. Can't nobody do you better than you do you. And its signature quilting is a nod to Napoleon III's chairs, on which guests at the Dior runway show would sit. A thread of history runs through each other's couriers' collections. The metallic charm that fall from the strap are inspired by the Lucky Charms that he so loved. I've seen so many celebrities carrying the Lady Dior. If you are a woman who loves fashion, probably have considered or currently own this handbag. And the next is the Dior saddlebag. I know some of you might think, how come the saddlebag made it to the iconic list? Well, I did think that this is something that's very unique from when it first came out, and this silhouette was reintroduced a couple years ago by Dior, and I just think it's something that is so unique, that is different than the rest of the handbags from different collections. And I love the oblique pattern because it was such a dominant monogram back when it was released, and just seeing it again really brought me back some major nostalgia. It was 1999 when John Galliano gave the Dior saddlebag its debut during his Spring-Summer 2000 collection. The cowboy-inspired styles that was meant to be worn short-strapped and tight against the armpit started a whole new trend and became an instant success. It quickly appeared on Sex and the City on the arms of Sarah Jessica Parker, aka Carrie Bradshaw, and followed by many famous Hollywood stars. However, 1 year later, the popularity of the purse began to fade. Then years went by, suddenly fashion taste for logos came up again. Beyoncé decided to dust off their vintage saddlebag in 2014 and started frequently wearing this piece proudly. People started speaking about it again, and slowly but surely the bag became hot again. And then we have two handbags from Hermes. The first one is the Hermes Birkin. So the Birkin bag is named after the British actress and model Jane Birkin. I have shared the story and the heritage behind this in some of my Birkin videos. The Birkin is still considered one of the most desirable handbags in the world, and it's still very hard to get if you're trying to score one from the store, but it is definitely one of the most iconic and classic handbags because of its minimalistic look and also how well it's made. So legend has it that the world's most coveted bag was born in the sky. In 1984, on a flight from Paris to London, famous British actress Jane Birkin was sitting next to Jean-Louis Dumas, executive chairman of Hermes, complaining that she couldn't find a bag suitable for all of her needs as a new mother. She was carrying a basket trying to fit all her essentials, possibly stealing legroom from the Hermes creator. So he immediately sketched a supple yet spacious rectangular tote with a burnished flap and saddle stitching. There's even a dedicated space for her baby's bottle. And as you can see on the slideshow here, there are a couple of sizes that the Birkin comes in. So I'm just showing you the different sizes. And apparently the size 25, being the smallest size, has the highest resale value. And I know some of you are going to disagree with me because there is a Birkin size 20, which I am aware of, but that particular one is a limited edition release, so it's not something that you can just walk in and buy. So for the most part, the most common sizes in Hermes Birkin is size 25, 30, 35, and 40. The next is the Hermes Kelly. Of course, the Hermes Kelly bag has to live up to its expectation, but it kind of did because it was, an accident. It became accidentally famous because the Kelly bag got its name from a glamour moment in 1956 when Grace Kelly used a shield to cover up her pregnant belly. She received the bag in 1954 to use in the Hitchcock movie To Catch a Thief and fell in love with it instantly. Although from then on everyone called the bag the Kelly bag, it was not until 1977 it officially got renamed. The last two spot belongs to two different handbags from two different brands because I think they equally have been very popular for a while and they are still in the current market for people who are starting to buy luxury. And so the next one is the Goyard St. Louis handbag. The Goyard St. Louis tote has been compared to the Neverfull a lot, and the Neverfull was actually launched in the early 2000s, whereas the Goyard, it was made in the last century, I would say, in the 1930s. And it has its, reputation of being durable because it's made of non-leather material, it's coated canvas, and I believe the Neverfull was then compared with it because it was kind of made the same way. So there's a lot of comparison in between the two, but the Goyard was really the firstborn. The Goyard bag was created in the 1930s and brought the daily bag a breath of fresh air and luxury. Back then, the coated canvas is indeed a famous material. Its refined material resembles leather, but is composed of vegetable fibers, perfectly worked, which give it flexibility and the thermal properties. And when people are searching for luxury handbags without having noticeable monograms or designer labels on there, a lot of people turn to Goyard. It's not that it's not famous, it's just that the way it's designed is very low-key and slouchy and it's easy to carry around with. At the same time, it doesn't scream luxury logo-wise. So that's why a lot of people have adopted to that. Last one on my list, I have thought about this one for a very long time. I have thought about maybe the Balenciaga City bag is something that is very, very iconic, or it was the It bag. The handbag does have a very edgy design to it. It's very special, and unlike many other handbags that have just very simplistic design and the structure, the City bag is slouchy. You know, it's filled with hardwares and leather tassels, but I do think that bag has definitely made some waves around that era. But the last one that I chose to be on the top 10 list is actually the Celine box bag. So Celine box bag is the most interesting debut in 2011, and it has so far returned in almost every season, confirming its position as a cult bag year after year. Its structured and minimalistic design makes one of the most coveted when it comes to iconic Celine bags, and we would fairly say director Phoebe Philo managed to successfully transpose the concept of elegance to an accessory design while creating it. Needless to say, a Celine box bag is worth the investment indeed. And the Celine box bag just very low-key and understated, and if you are a huge fan of minimalistic design, you would have heard of this bag and seen this bag, and it just carries itself very elegantly. I do think the design of this bag could stand the change of time and fashion for many other decades. So that's the reason why I chose this one. This is my list of top 10 most iconic handbags. Do you agree with some of it, or do you think some should be removed and your choice should be popping in? And I'm sure some of you might agree and some of you might have a different opinion, but I definitely would like to know what you think are some of the other handbags that should be added to the list. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because we have different user experiences for different handbags, and I know some of these are more commonly acceptable than others, but I would love to hear your opinion. And I just want to thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you have not subscribed, join right now by clicking on the subscribe button. And if you love the video, I would love you to give this video a thumbs up because it means a lot to me and for the channel. I certainly hope you're having a great rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye.